My name is Anna, and I'm head of product at Joom. I've been working in IT for more than 10 years and led my way from web developer through business analyst, product manager to head of product. So I deeply understand the whole operating cycle of product development from different angles. Lately, I've been managing huge development teams, and my strong focus is not only to build great products, but also to create inspiring working atmosphere. I'm working in Joom, which is a global mobile marketplace specializing in cross-border e-commerce. We built a beautiful and simple application that helps customers from more than 100 countries to save money by buying things directly from manufacturers in Asia and Europe. Joom is a part of Joom Group together with Joom Logistics, tech-driven logistics company that delivers orders from Asia and Europe all over the world. J-Farm, a new pharmacy marketplace in Germany, aiming to make purchase of medicines extremely convenient and to allow users save their money, not losing in the quality. JoomPay, mobile app for instant P2P transfers in Europe, and B2B marketplace Joom Pro. So, what I'm going to talk about today. I want to tell you a little bit more about our team, its structure, and our values. Then I'll describe you an operating hell where we ended up lately with numerous meetings, chaotic plannings, and constant overwork. Together with you, I want to walk our whole way to the solution of this problem and to describe how our processes look like today and what additional benefits we received when we have fixed all main pain points. And also I want to share with you some life hacks we discovered. And at the end, there will be time for your questions, of course. So hope you will enjoy my story. And short and important disclaimer, I am not planning to discover America for you, and I do not pretend to be an absolute truth. And I definitely don't want to teach you how to operate your team, as my strong belief is that all the processes should reflect your team and its needs, not the opposite. All I want to do is to share the experience. So let's start with the team. Our product development team consists of 60 people divided into the following functional sub-teams: product managers, analysts, designers, backend developers, web developers, Android developers, iOS developers, quality assurance, and localization manager. Actually, there are even more people, as localization manager, for example, has at least one translator per language outsourced, and our app is translated into 21 languages. Also, we have ML team, just the same size, with whom we work together on at least half of the projects. So it's quite a team to operate. And yes, we don't have project managers at all. In order for you to better understand our decisions, I also want to mark our main values and core principles. First, we are really flexible. As I have already told, not the team adjusts to the processes, but the processes reflect the team. So we try to build do not try to build everlasting solutions, but to change every day and to question decisions which were absolutely correct for us yesterday. The second is effectiveness. We want everything to have a clear purpose and not to create processes just for the sense of doing it. And the third is efficiency, as we are actually rather lazy, and if something can be avoided, we prefer not to do it. So now, keeping all our principles in mind, I want you to draw the picture of the world before and to feel our pain. We saw the following signs of the problem. Almost all the team is constantly on a meeting and have no time to actually work with their hands. Number of projects is growing, but the results are not. We are working overtime and we are constantly tired. And we see more and more cases of doing similar or even the same stuff in different projects. Write a plus in chat if any of these problems are familiar to you. I really think you have something to discuss. So our problem had 3 levels of underlying causes. First, it's team structure. Second, it's our quarter planning process. And third is our sprints planning process. Our team looked like some random intersection of people. as every product manager had a bunch of not related to each other projects, and each project involved different people. And of course, every project was of the highest priority. The second is our company planning, which was done through objectives and key results, and that was good. But because we had these project-based teams, we were spending at least a week for non-stop conversations about resources and priorities. These meetings looked more like a bazaar or trading on American stock exchange in the end of 20th century. And actually it was explainable as we had to compare warm to soft. And finally, 2 out of 5 working days per week were busy with regular planning sessions, as we had 1 meeting for design, 1 meeting for analytics, 1 for backend, etc., summing up to 8 meetings, and also 1 per each project. So it was time for us to admit that we have grown too fast, and it was time to reorganize everything. We understood that we couldn't stop everything, rethink the process, and start from scratch. So here we began our interesting journey of constant process improvements. And we decided to start this process with retrospective. We could not solve everything at once and needed to understand the main pain points that we need to pay attention to. As our team is really big, organizing a retrospective was quite a challenge. We couldn't just go together to the pub, eat pizza and talk. It was just impossible. So we organized a 2-stage process. At first, every functional team lead conducted a retro in his or her team, and they can go to the pub or do anything they want. There they discussed both internal questions and cross-functional ones. And then all team leads gathered together and discussed all cross-functional problems. We had so much to discuss at first that our first cross-functional retrospective turned into the series of 3 meetings, 3 hours each. After that, we came up with strong rules. We discussed all the things, but only top 3 problems and top 3 suggestions from each team. And if any discussion is longer than 3 minutes during this retrospective, we stop it and add an action point to create a separate meeting to decide on this topic. So this is how we've got a constant flow of ideas for improvement, and actually all these ideas were prioritized as every team lead can send his or her vote for some idea. And the first area for improvement was resources allocation. On the one hand, we didn't want to give up our flexibility to affect the size of the projects we do or to seize responsibility. On the other hand, we were willing to have a clear focus for everyone in the team. So we have divided our team in 3 streams. The first stream is core. It is responsible for providing users with the perfect shopping experience. Here we allocated all the projects with the focus on conversion or customer satisfaction. The second, growth stream, collected all money-oriented projects and is responsible for the growth of our regularly buying users and their average order value. And the third one, new discovery stream, is aimed at experiments. Its goal is to constantly look for the new ways to develop our service. After such a change, every product still has number of projects, so actually the number of projects doesn't change, but all these projects are connected. This helps all of us to focus on one bigger problem to solve. Having made all these changes, we had to reorganize our quarterly planning. Before, we had one long set of goals for the whole product team, and actually it was unmanageable, ununderstandable, really hard to do something with that. Now, we divide our company goals by our streams, and each have its own objectives and key results. In order not to lose connection with each other and to share knowledge, we start every quarter with big product brainstorm. Each product manager prepare a brief description of the projects he wants to develop, and then we share ideas on the ways to achieve our goals. After that session, which lasts like a couple of hours, everyone can come up with his draft objectives and key results for the quarter and estimate how much resources he needs to bring all this to life. The next step actually is our greatest asset. In order not to compare warm to soft and not to bargain like in a bazaar for resources, we came up with the following rather strict system. We have a Google Doc, which helps us to organize the process. Firstly, we add the number of working weeks in the following quarter. Then every team lead enters the number of people in their teams. Important notice here, team lead themselves are accounted as half of the person, or even zero sometimes, as they are normally busy with operations and can't actually code to the full extent. They also gather information about vacations in their teams and estimate how much time we need to allocate for business as usual duties, such as releases, for example. And after that, apply our concentration coefficient, which helps us to take into account some meetings and inaccurate estimations. This coefficient is based on our previous experience, and currently it is 0.7. So at the end, we understand how much time we have in each functional team. At the next step, I, as the head of product, specify priorities of the streams according to our current strategy. This helps us to understand approximate proportion of resources for each stream. Product managers and tech leads enter the information how much resources they desire to make all their plans. And with all this prepared, we meet for an hour or an hour and a half and discuss everything we have. At this point, a little bargain happens, of course, but we can see the streams that lack resources, look at our priorities, and either decide where we will cut the resources to send it here, or the product manager just understands that he or she should cut the projects in order to fit into the resources he or she has. So at the end, each product manager or tech lead knows how many people he will have for the next quarter, and this flow really helped us to save a lot of time and a lot of energy during the planning process. The final step here is to present our plans to the team and to decide who actually will work at each stream. Normally, we prepare a brief presentation for our weekly demo meeting and let everyone specify his or her preferences. And after that, each functional team lead do some magic tricks to allocate everyone so that they have interesting tasks and all the teams are balanced. And with these balanced teams, product managers finalize their plans and objectives and key results. As our experience actually shows, final teams are rather stable, but the whole process gives us transparency, flexibility, and an easy way for the team members to indicate that they need some change, because actually everyone can get tired of the projects they work on. And now let's talk about our weekly cycles, which begins after all this process. As I have said before, we had a huge meeting overdose. To deal with it, we broke our sprint planning in two halves. At first, product manager meets with the cross-functional team and they discuss all the results of the previous sprint and agrees on the expectations from the upcoming one. So each team member leaves the meeting with full understanding what other team members expect him to do. And this understanding he brings together with him to the second step, which is functional planning, where, for example, all Android developers meet each other and synchronize their plans, or all iOS developers, or all analytics. At this point, their team lead can correct something. If he or she sees that someone is overplanned while the other is underplanned, he may decide to share some tasks of the first one with the second, or just maybe skip something for the upcoming sprint if there is no chance to do that. So some corrections may happen here. Normally, both meetings last no longer than half an hour. So currently the sprint is planned in just 1 hour instead of 8. as all cross-functional and functional planning sessions include different people and can be done in parallel. During cross-functional meeting, the team also decides whether they plan to develop some new features. And if yes, they agree on a kickoff meeting to discuss all the details. So such meeting happen only when needed and include only those people who are actually involved in the development. And as the team agrees on it beforehand, everyone has some time to prepare. So this process also made our development much more efficient, transparent, and clear. And to avoid losing connection among different streams, as I have already told, the streams are rather stable, we end each week with short demo session, where we show each other the results of the sprint. This session includes not only the features developed, but also analytic researches, experiment results, or some other interesting news. And when we have fixed all this, we have found one more really time-consuming source. Actually, each functional team had a lot of regular activities, such as release preparation, reaction to urgent questions, preparation of weekly updates for the company, and so on. So we created a duty role for each functional team, which rotates every week. If you can't find some analytics, you may just ask analytics duty to help you. If something doesn't work, backend duty is here to fix it. And it helps us not only to save time, but also to share knowledge. As far as I know, duty role in development teams are rather common, but actually we applied this paradigm also to design team and even to product team. So we also have product duty who just answers some product related questions all during their week. And also to make life of the duties easier, we automated a lot of actions. Collecting team weekly updates or release notes, informing the team on release statuses, alarming on test failures, and a lot more. All this is done with one click or even without a click with the help of our clever bot. Then we went even further and also automated some everyday routine. What else does our bot do? It posts weekly reports with new tasks in stream backlog. It reminds about old bugs and asks to take them or close as one fix. It tracks task statuses and asks really uncomfortable questions if you forget to move your ticket. Sometimes its patience runs out and it moves your ticket itself. And it also helps us to create some tickets, such as a ticket to prepare experiment or to write quality assurance test cases. Every time we see some actions that we repeat regularly or frequently forget to do, we automate these actions or create a reminder for it. One may say that it is laziness, but actually we are not ashamed of being lazy. And all this helps us to prevent a lot of mistakes, to avoid routine, not to switch context too often, to have more confidence, and of course, to save a lot of time. So I told a lot. Let's recap everything in a very short way. First, we have a big team, which is split in 3 business streams: core, growth, new discovery. Our quarter planning starts with a global brainstorm to understand how to achieve company goals. Then we use strict Google Doc to divide resources. To balance prudence, we account for team preferences when we turn numbers into real people and create our teams. Our cross-functional teams start their week with cross-functional things. Then functional planning takes place, followed by kickoffs if necessary. And at the end of the week, we meet for a demo. To run all these effectively, we have duties who are responsible for routine, which we have not yet managed to automate. Such a flow lets us engage the team into the minimum of regular activities, involve people as much as possible in what is happening, keep the same pace for the whole team, and solve problems really quickly. And on this joyful note, I want to draw your attention to the fact that we are now actively hiring, especially JFarm, which will be launched in the nearest days, and wants to open the possibility for the customers in Germany to order and to receive any pharmacy product for the best price and in the shortest terms. So if you're interested, just scan our QR code. And thank you very much for your attention. I hope you have found some interesting ideas to apply. And now let's jump into your questions.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I was really interested, like to know how you're all dealing with all these things, and I'm actually impressed. So guys, if you have questions, you can leave them in YouTube chat or somewhere in this in the Zoom, and we'll see it. So, do we have any questions? Still, while we are waiting, I have a question.
Okay.
I see at your deck that you sometimes have a half of men, something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
6.5 or something like that. So why it is?
Yeah, good question. Actually, yeah, I just used the screenshots of our last session, so numbers are real. And as for some halves, yeah, actually they occur. We, like every cross-functional retro, we have an action point to avoid half of the men, but still it's not possible. So sometimes we agree that, for example, we have some big task in one stream, which needs just 1 month of a developer. So another stream, for example, technical one, can like lend the person to this stream for 1 month to do the exact task. And after that, this person goes back to his stream. So when he's doing some big task or just some number of tasks, he is involved in all the processes, in all the plannings of this stream which he's allocated currently, but then he goes back to his own. Actually, this happens almost every quarter, but we try to do it like with really big tasks and very clear estimates. Like when we agree to do it for 1 month, it means then when the month runs out, we need to think of any solution to let this person free and to give it back to give him or her back to the previous stream.
Yeah. So does it mean that you have a pretty like looking far in your so in your planning, in your product planning? So it means that you're planning for quarter years or half of years or even a year.
We are currently planning for the quarter, but well, like we plan only big projects and big goals for the quarter. Inside this quarter, every manager can do whatever he wants. So even with these trade-offs, sometimes we may agree that, for example, we lend a developer for 1 month for the team. We don't know exactly what projects he is going to be responsible for, but 1 month he will be doing something which the manager decides. Yeah. And then he like went back, but still we try to plan beforehand, at least for a quarter.
Yeah, cool. It was really useful for me, at least. So I see one question, and
Okay.
Shihu Laval is asking, what are the results of these weekly demos and their specific goals that are set per week?
Okay, so actually each product manager specify the goals for his or her team, and these goals are discussed during the cross-functional sync. On the weekly demo, each team decides what it wants to show. So of course, first of all, we try to show each other the actual developed features when it is like almost production ready. And secondly, we try to share some results, some decisions, some maybe outcomes of the experiments, just to share the whole knowledge. So this demo session, it is not like a bureaucratic or some kind of strict meeting. Actually, during our lockdown period, a very important part of this session is showing our pets to each other. Like, we know all the dogs, all the cats, because we don't see each other often. And this is an hour when we just try to remember that we are people, we are the team, and we remember how we look, what we do, how we live, and etc. That's why this demo session, it is more about people than about actual results. But yes, the main idea here is just to share the whole context we have.